Hey everyone, it's Shadow Joker here, and welcome to my first countdown of 2021, which isn't like an annual video topic. Considering it's already April, I should feel very bad about saying that, and I kinda do. Anyway, what's the topic of today's countdown? Well, those of you who have seen my update video and my latest Let's Play video, well, it's probably not going to be the latest Let's Play video as of uploading this, but as time recording, it's, no, never mind. You would know that today, we'll be talking about my favorite rivals in video games. This is a topic I've wanted to talk about for a long time, and only just now decided it would be a good time to talk about it, so let's talk about rivals. And as is the theme of my videos now, what is the context for, like, Jimothy in the back for him who doesn't know what a rival is? Pretty much a rival is a foil to the protagonist. Think Gray Fullbuster from Fairy Tail. Think, from Black Clover. Not that Black Clover is huge or anything. It's literally, it's all I've been watching. Characters like that, who serve the challenge protagonist while being pretty much a polar opposite of them personality-wise, in most cases. Those are the types of characters we're looking at today. And sometimes the rival character is interchangeable. Is someone who plays more roles more akin to a villain, who are very similar to the protagonist in fighting style. However, they align themselves more with villainy than just their own faction or occasionally teaming up with the hero. As for rules, typical one per franchise and only from games I played. And the character has to have reoccurring confrontations with the protagonist. For example, one-off boss who doesn't align themselves with the main evil faction doesn't make them a rival character. They must be a persisting threat throughout the game. In most cases. However, in the one or two cases that isn't really apparent, you guys will probably like the character enough to ignore me bending my own rules. And of course, we're trying to focus mainly on anti-hero rivals here. So, no villain rivals. And with that out of the way, let's get this countdown underway. Coming at the number 10 spot, and the franchise that I've only really talked about once on my channel, Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. Kinda breaks my rule set, 'cause Scorpion is not the de facto protagonist of Mortal Kombat. However, in my defense, Scorpion is easily the poster boy of Mortal Kombat. And considering how iffy story-based fighting games can get, I'm more so looking for, in terms of a rival, who's the poster boy of the game as opposed to the typical protagonist. So, even though Sub-Zero and Scorpion are not typical, well, more so Scorpion, is not a typical protagonist character you're locked into playing from start to finish sort of deal, due to his popularity compared to the rest of the MK cast, I feel like giving Sub-Zero a pass on this one. And honestly, I kind of just wanted to find an excuse to talk about another franchise I don't talk about all that much on my channel. So, Sub-Zero made the list. Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable on MK, so if I get Sub-Zero's backstory wrong, please forgive me. Now, from my understanding of MK, once again, since I'm not the most knowledgeable on its lore, I could very well be getting Sub-Zero's backstory wrong here. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are from ninja clans, I believe. Once again, I don't want to keep saying this, since it's gonna feel like running out the YouTube time limit, just padding my video, but I don't know much about MK's lore, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. There are rival clans and they're brothers, I believe. Maybe it's just Sub-Zero's brother. Always had a rivalry with the opposite clan, which is part of why Scorpion is always fire-based. Sub-Zero, if you couldn't figure out Sub-Zero's a nice base character, then honestly, I just need to smack you over the skull with a frying pan. And that's about it from what I understand. And Sub-Zero's always been personally my favorite character to play as in Mortal Kombat. Though, considering I've only really played some of X and some of 11, I can't really say who's my main. Since Raiden was very close, but that's only because the first time I played X, I got to do a fatality by mashing a bunch of different buttons. I don't have much to say on Sub-Zero other than cool ice powers due to my very base level understanding of MK, so we're just gonna move on from here. Well, do I have anything more to add? No, I don't have anything more to add. Moving on. Next up is one of my mains in Smash Bros. Meta Knight. Now, while this rivalry isn't reflected in most modern Kirby games, I say this, yet there's a boss fight against him and Star Allies, but he's possessed, so But in the very early games, Meta Knight was a very reoccurring antagonist for Mr. Meta Knight. No, I'm stupid. Mr. Meta Knight here was very reoccurring antagonist for the lovable Pink Ball, who slaughters everything in his path. Hell, even Sakurai, when he did a Smash Ultimate, I can't remember for which character reveal it was, but at one point he showed a bunch of different character rivalries. Not villains, for that one Twitter post I saw where it claimed Meta Knight was a big bad villain. He's more often good than not, actually. So what the dump is up with this? I don't know. And yeah, he's a very big rival for Kirby. So honestly, the rival for Kirby, that's what I'm talking about, and not King Dedede, outside the fact that I prefer Meta Knight. We're getting off topic here. Now, as for Meta Knight's backstory, I haven't really looked into the lore of Meta Knight as a whole in the Kirby lore, which is actually surprisingly really good. Read up on Kirby lore sometime. It's actually pretty interesting. Going off the very definitely canon anime, just because I have no other way of telling his backstory, Meta Knight and Kirby are Star Warriors. Kirby is like a baby boy Star Warrior, given his baby attitude towards everything. He's just very kind, very friendly, until he gets a sword or any sort of ability, really, and then he just slaughters your whole family. Well, Meta Knight, as you can see, is very more serious, to the point where he reads books. Imagine reading books in 2021. Oh god, I want to read a book. What have you done? You made me want to read a book. Anyway, Meta Knight. We can even confirm that him and Kirby are the same species. Yeah, species as well go with. Same species as Kirby, because in the various times where Meta Knight's mask falls off, you can see that he's really just a different colored Kirby. So yeah, same race. He just perpetually has a sword. Now, since I actually know quite a bit about Kirby, I can actually go into Meta Knight's personality. So what is Meta Knight like? He's a very honorable swordsman. To a point where in most of his boss fights, he offers you a sword ability before you fight. So you're on an even playing field. Even if he's better, he just wants to duel Kirby in those appearances. And he can fly, which is cool, I guess. He's also very powerful because he duels with Galactonite, and that's honestly his motivation for a lot of things. He just wants to duel someone who he finds to be on a similar, if not the same, power level as him. When he got to Nova and Superstar Ultra, he didn't have any grandeur ambitions. He just wanted to fight the strongest warrior and prove he was the best. Which honestly, in some respects, makes him sort of like a shonen protag. Except, I don't feel like a lot of people mischaracterize Meta Knight, because people like to mischaracterize shonen protags, let me tell you. I don't know, I could probably make a video on it if I actually watched more shonen. But yeah, if I ever do, I'd probably make a video on it, because why not? Anyway, that's really it for Meta Knight. Why is he number 9 though? Well, like I said, Kirby and him don't really have any sort of rivalry nowadays. They're more so friends who occasionally fight because I'm being controlled, and not rivals. Friend and rival are very different things. For example, you would not call Joey Wheeler or Cyrus from their respective Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes rival characters. I'm sorry that I keep bringing up anime examples in a video game centered video, because I've been watching a lot of anime recently. I apologize. And due to his lack of modern rival presence, he got a bit lower on my personal list of rivals. Alright, so number 8 on this list is Bass, or Bass, yeah, Bass is how you say it. The spelling always tits me off. I always think it's Bass, but no, it's Bass. Definitely, because music reference, rock, roll, bass. Mega Man, a series time. Also, don't talk about the biggest. Don't talk about the biggest one. I don't talk about all that much because I just haven't played too many Mega Man games, to be fair. Like the only ones I really played, which are really up there for me, are Mega Man X and 11. I do have stuff to say about Bass, so let's go over him. Now, Bass's backstory. He's pretty much an evil clone rival in every sense of the word. He was literally made by Dr. Wily to destroy Mega Man and beat up Dr. Light, or whatever his plans are. But Shadow Joker, I thought you weren't going with villain rivals. And actually, believe it or not, Bass is more of an anti-hero, because sometimes he just doesn't do what Dr. Wily asks of him. Sometimes he rebels, and sometimes he just does his own thing. And that own thing is typically fighting Mega Man because rivalry. Now, as for Base's powers, outside of not having many robot master powers, typically, the exception of like Mega Man and Base and his mode in 10, he's just Mega Man but can shoot vertically. And of course, in his debut game, X, he can fuse with his own dog, whose name I forgot. And he is probably the way you played Mega Man Base if you did play it, because those levels are designed for Base. If you try to play as Mega Man, you die. Like, it's not even, you lose all your lives. When you lose all your lives and you play as Mega Man Base, you just drop on the floor and die. So yeah, Base. Honestly, actually, I could go on his personality a bit more. He's sort of similar to Meta Knight. He just wants to be the best. And will go to even more extremes than Meta Knight to get to being the best. Isn't much I can add once again, since I'm not the biggest Mega Man guy. Everyone scream to the heavens. Shadow Joker's talking about Chrono Trigger. I know, it's a very momentous occasion. It's not like I've literally talked about this in half of my countdowns that I'm actually proud of, and like, it's a very obscure series. Well, not series. I haven't talked about Chrono Cross. I haven't even played Chrono Cross. But yes, I talk about a lot. Thank you. I'm being very humble right now. Anyway, we're talking about Magus because I like him, which is a very good reason to talk about him. Now, I know this is very, very questionable with the criteria I've assembled here. One, before I even get too far into Magus, this will be spoiling Chrono Trigger. So, please skip past the section that I'm talking about Magus if you have not finished Chrono Trigger. If you somehow have not played Chrono Trigger, do it. It's probably the best game ever made. I'm serious. Go play it right now, even if you have already played it. Just leave this video on in the background. Anyway, why is Magus so questionable? Majority of human beings that breathe oxygen will already know that Magus, he's a villain, isn't he? I mean, you're showing his boss fight, which there's only 2 of. How is he a reoccurring threat? And 2, even if he had more boss fights, he joins your party as the secret 7th member. What the dump, dude? Alright, now allow me to explain myself. Let's start off with this. Magus, he's never really your enemy. He's Frog's enemy. And since Frog is your friend, you immediately assume that he's your enemy. And while he doesn't like Chrono or really any of the party members, at least not until he joins, because then you could say, you low-key enjoyed this time. I don't know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But, clearly doesn't like you, but you're not his enemy. Lavos is. And Lavos is your enemy. The only reason he joins the party is because you want to destroy Lavos as well. If you didn't want to destroy Lavos, he'd be doing his own thing. But he decides to join, and with the logic of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And considering you have the same goal, and after all the Zeal stuff, Zeal is also your enemy too, so yeah, logically speaking, yeah, he fits into a rival character in my opinion. Anyway, on to what I like about Magus. Starting off with his very tragic backstory. He was Janus, a boy in Zeal Kingdom, the son of Queen Zeal. However, when she became obsessed with using Lavos as a power source and just eternal life, she kinda left her children to the wayside and was okay sacrificing Shala. After the events with Lavos, which, due to time travel, you were there for, he got stuck in 600 AD and eventually became the Fiend Lord. We don't know how he became the Fiend Lord, we just know that he did. And he tries to summon Lavos in order to get revenge for both his beloved sister and for ruining his life. Magus is a very, very, tragic character. He doesn't have much going on in the, personality department outside of being an edgelord. But he's also incredibly fun as a playable character, and most rival characters aren't playable, so like I don't get to talk about all that much, but like Magus is an exception. So like he can use all elements of magic. He is not the strongest in terms of his magic stat, but he has access to the most magic, which means you can cover elemental weaknesses without having Luca, Marl/Rog, and occasionally Robo in your party. And obviously Chrono. But like, Chrono is so overpowered and is the protagonist that unless you're me being an idiot on my first playthrough, you honestly should always have Chrono in your party unless you're in an area that is incredibly magic based after the events of Zeal. When you can actually physically have him outside of your party. So yeah, Magus is one of the best characters in all of Chrono Trigger easily. Not to mention, he's just a fantastic rival, even though he doesn't immediately appear as a typical rival character, he kinda fits the mold. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Magus. Pretty awesome, and once again, if you haven't played Chrono Trigger, just play Chrono Trigger. And now we're talking about Shadow the Hedgehog. We're just having a slew of series that I just don't talk about a lot anymore. Not anymore, just in general. Shadow. Obviously, Sonic Rival Heat. From his first appearance, you get obvious evil clone. Vibes from him, since he's literally just a dark Sonic who thinks he's better than Sonic. And is very much an edgelord. Like, I brought up being an edgelord with Magus, but oh dear, he is an edgelord. Not to say that there's not more to his character than being edgy, but like, I don't think you can physically say that Shadow isn't at least a little edgy. But on to his backstory. He was supposedly he's the ultimate life form created by Dr. Gerald Botnick. I can't. Yeah, Dr. Ivo Robotnik is Eggman. So Geralt Robotnik made him as the ultimate life form. Technically Sekimo. I don't know why an ultimate life form is like a hedgehog, but it's Sonic. We're gonna have to roll with things being a little absurd. Because, like, it's a franchise about a blue hedgehog. I think things have the right to be a little absurd. Though he also had the DNA of an alien. Shadow the Hedgehog is a very weird game that does very weird things to your brain. But anyway, Shadow is probably one of the poster boy definitions of the character that is the typical what am I trying to say? The typical I act like I don't like you on the outside, or just no, I'm not gonna say I act like I don't like you on the outside, but I care on the inside. It's more akin to I'm very cold and cunning on the outside, but I do have a sensitive side. That is the best way I could describe Shadow's character. This is not right now. I'll watch that video later, whatever. Anyway, what I was saying, Shadow, very actually really well written character. I just wish that Sonic Team and Sega didn't botch it up so bad in modern Sonic games, because like it's not really all there. So I'm singing quite a bit of praise about Shadow. Why did he not make at the very least the top 5? There's a very simple reason for that. He falls into the sort of Meta Knight category for me, where he used to have this awesome rivalry with Sonic. He would do pretty much things his own way. At least after Eggman, because he was literally on team of supposed villains in SA2. But let's not go over that, because like I have better things to do with my life. No, just kidding. Don't know why I said that. But yeah, he's sort of just a friend. Not even a friend who occasionally fights anymore, just a friend. Which is fine, but it hampers his rival role to me in a little bit. He's still a great character and a pretty decent rival in some of the older Sonic games, but he's just not as good as he used to be, honestly. And claiming the number 5 spot is Wolf O'Donnell from the Star Fox franchise. Yet another franchise I just don't talk about. In fact, I think this is the first time I'm talking about Star Fox on my channel. So that's kinda epic, actually. Anyway, Wolf. He's kinda just more mean-spirited Fox, because like Fox is kinda a good guy, but then Wolf is kinda just the hunt is on, boys. Yeah, not the most avid Star Fox fan, but I know enough about Wolf to where I feel like I can put him in this video. Now, I know I'm gonna get hounded for putting Wolf over Shadow. Admittedly, it's kinda dumb, but like I'm sticking to my guns. See, guns, we're talking about Star Fox, and that's like that. No, I'm not gonna make joke like that. But they use them a lot. Smash Bros. Sticking to my guns on my placement. Wolf. I can't remember if he was also on like GameSpot, like James McLeod's old team. Might have just been the Pigma. I was about to say the Pikmin whose name I can't remember, but then it literally just popped into my head. Yeah, Wolf is decent enough. I like playing him in Smash. I'm not gonna lie, that's part of why I play him in number 5. I'm gonna be real. There isn't much I can add. Like, he's kind of just like more of a mercenary type, and like he occasionally help Fox, which is why I'm putting him on the list. Now, I'm kind of regretting not putting this guy higher, but Miles Edgeworth is a fantastic rival. Numbers 10 to 5 have been good rivals. Numbers 4 to 1 are, oh my god, they're so good. But let's start off with, obviously, what makes Miles a good rival. Not only does he have a history with Phoenix Wright, that he actually defended him in school, but as you can guess from that, Miles was originally going to be a defense attorney, but didn't mean to do that. But as you obviously see if you played the first Ace Attorney game, also I should specify this as spoilers for the Ace Attorney trilogy, so go play that if you haven't, before watching this segment, obviously. He becomes a prosecutor and is regarded as the best prosecutor currently in the country. And of course, we don't know this at first, but like Phoenix does, and it's like, what's up with that? And we learn that why he became a prosecutor as opposed to a defense attorney. He was stuck in an elevator in the DL6 incident with Yanni Yogi and his father, defense attorney Gregory Edgeworth. The top-ranked prosecutor, Manfred von Karma, was going on his way to, happened to be the broken elevator that they were trapped in. Gregory and Yogi were having a fight. Miles noticed a gun on the ground, threw it, and heard a gunshot. He passed out, so when he woke up to see his father dead, he blamed himself for his father's death, and Bon Karma, as revenge for thinking that, pretty much thinking Gregory Edgeworth shot him, or just revenge in general, because Gregory called him out on his BS in court with, faking evidence and very, very heavily just giving the witnesses a script that goes in his favor, pretty much, so he could be undefeated. Gregory pretty much calls him out on this, so he kills him and takes on his son as his protege, and that's why Miles is a prosecutor. It's a very tragic backstory. Now, obviously, Miles is a great rival as he is the perfect foil to Phoenix. Phoenix, as much as he loves justice and gets serious about saving his clients when he needs to, is kind of a bumbling idiot at times. While Miles thinks things through, is very cunning and cold, not to mention calculating. He's borderline a genius, while most of the time Phoenix just kind of stumbles into the case that he makes. Edgeworth has plans, well, more so in the second trial, but he knows what he wants to say, while Phoenix is sort of a, no, Judge, give me a second, would you? And that's what makes their rivalry this great. The reason I put him here, he's not my favorite prosecutor in the series. I could make a whole video on my favorite Ace Attorney characters, where obviously I talk about my favorite prosecutor. So I'm not going to mention that here, as that would be spoiling a potential future video, but he's the second one, which is why I went for him. But another great thing about Miles and Phoenix's rivalry is that he goes from just being enemies to, alright, I can see you're in the right at this point, let me help you out in convicting the clearly guilty person, to, I don't want you to defend me because I think, because he doesn't think that he's guilty, but he just doesn't want a close friend to, like, take a fall for him. And then, honestly, Rise from the Ashes just sucks, so we're not going to talk about that. When he returns in Case 2, not Case 2, Game 2's final case, it starts as typical, Franziska couldn't make it, so I'll just have to fill in for her, to, oh, the only reason you're defending Matt at this point is because Maya's been kidnapped. Alright, I'll help you. And it's a very powerful moment. It's part of why it's my favorite case in the whole franchise. And in Trials and Tribulations, you get to play as him. And this is even ignoring the investigation games, because I haven't played any of the investigations all the way through. Only played the trilogy and Apollo Justice. And I go into more detail about the depths of his character explore. He's one of the most fascinating characters in media, in my opinion. And I'm glad I got to talk about him at long last, because Miles is really a great character. And I love his British objections in the original trilogy. I know I've heard his voice acting in, like, Dual Destinies and stuff, but, like, when I hear, like, his objections and take that, I just imagine him being British, so, like, I always give him a British voice. That's just me. And you guys should really like Miles Edgeworth. He's really well-written character. So, breaking my rules a bit, we're talking about the Black Knight from Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Now, obviously, he's quite a bit of an antagonist. A villain, you could say. He has a really good rivalry with Ike, but he's a villain rival. So why am I talking about him? Well, simple. Velgius joins your army as backup in Path of Radiance. I know, it's so convenient for this video that he's technically working with you for, like, one time. It's not even he's playable or anything. He's just like, I'm backing you as a big young general. It's so stupid, but it allows me to talk about him in this video, so I'm gonna take the chance. It's stupid, I know, but like I said, I'm gonna talk about him because he's probably one of my favorite antagonists throughout all of Fire Emblem. Anyway, the Black Knight. Basic backstory. Well, actually, you know what? Typically, I'd want to talk about the character's backstory in this segment, but I'm not going to here. Reason being, it's very special, and it also kind of ends up spoiling another character's backstory in the trilogy. Not trilogy, duology, you stupid idiot. So, why am I committing a talk about him? Well, you see, I'm just gonna go over like what he did to Ike's father, why he's the rival to Ike. He he's the father killer of this game. In every Fire Emblem game, there's someone who kills a father figure, just someone important to the protagonist in a similar role. Some would view it as spoilers, but like it's a theme that goes on throughout the entire franchise. It's not a spoiler in the slightest. It happens to every lore at some point, but he kills Grail. And one of the things that I really like about him actually is, oh, I just realized I've run out of footage. Give me a second. The Black Knight is say killed Ike's father, but he has multiple chances to kill Ike, but he doesn't act upon them. He just wants to see the son of the man who at one point he looked up to, see if he can live up to the legend of Grail, Ike's father. And because I'm trying to be ambiguous, even though I said his identity, I want to keep his true identity. The Black Knight is 2 characters, so even though I put him at number 3 because of how great his backstory is, that's something you're gonna have to experience on your own. I know videos like this are heavy spoilers, but like you're just gonna have to play the game yourself. They're really good. Well, Path of Radiance is a really good game. Radiant Dawn is very questionable about its quality. But next entry. Brought him up in a semi-recent video, Nagito Kamada. I love him. He's my favorite character in this franchise, so let's talk about why he's a great rival. Now, Danganronpa is another visual novel murder mystery which has a bit of a rival scene going on. Gyakuya was Zoro Makoto's rival. He does fit a role of a rival character, but doesn't really have all that great back and forth with Makoto. Nagito has that, though. Nagito has fantastic back and forth with Hajime. Now, the basis of Nagito's character is that on the surface he seems like a pretty chill dude who kinda quiet and nice. But that's fine. I don't see any problem with that. And then in Chapter 1, Trial, you learn he's completely insane. He is pretty much the whole hope thing that we saw of Makoto in Chapter 6 of the original Danganronpa. Yeah, he's pretty much that part of Makoto's personality, but turned up to high degree. Actually, he's kind of Makoto, but you made him interesting, and you turned everything about him up to the highest degree. Voiced by Bryce Peppenbrook, or Book. I apologize if somehow Bryce is watching this video. He's not only just the ultimate lucky student, his luck is like a supernatural force that he can manipulate. It's weird, but I love it. And again, he's obsessed with Hope. Right, where he's obsessed with Hope's Peak Academy and you Ultimates. Now, what makes him a really good rival? That is not a very good question because it should be made pretty obvious. He has fantastic back and forth dialogue with Hajime as shown in his rebuttal showdown, which it's really sad that there's only one, and it's just a highlight throughout the whole game with fantastic lines. Just look up some Nagito lines, you'll get some great ones, but An interesting development with his characters made through roughly halfway through chapter 4 and through chapter 5. He does like a final dead room, pretty much an escape room type thing from 999 or Your Turn to Die. And he solves it, and he finds a student record which has like all their ultimate titles and all that. Finds out that Hajime is from the reverse course. Now, what is a reverse course? Literally just normal people abducted in the Hope's Peak. And Nagito goes from being all, oh, we'll find your ultimate talent, don't worry, Hajime, to, pretty much hating Hajime's guts. Whenever he makes deductions in the chapter 4 trial, he makes remarks pretty much in using your ultimate reserve course student, and he tried to take away the final statement. That was like one of the best minigames, Nagito. I love you, but you can't do that. Part of why I put Nagito up here is I love him because of how relatable he was to me. Super lucky. I don't show it a lot, but I really do doubt myself in what I do. And Nagito sees himself as trash. And honestly, I used to have self-doubt to the same level as Nagito. So he was a very relatable character to me. So I just decided, and due to his role's arrival, I decided to put him on this list. He has a cool design, is insane, no, that's not supposed to be a selling point. He, being pretty much the mastermind behind the best child in the franchise, he's fantastic in every way. As relatable a character Nagito was to me, I had to give number 1 to the most interesting Pokemon trainer I think has graced this franchise. N. He shook the franchise to its core. Sure, Team Plasma did it, but he was their leader. I know Getsus is the evil team leader, but N was their king. Quite a few Team Plasma guns were motivated by what N was saying. So, yeah, N was the villain, yes, but he wasn't actually a villain. He was just being used by his father. Yes, father. N was a very sheltered kid by Getsus. Getsus from birth was pretty much making N a living... He just made him a living device to where Getsus could take over the world. I hate Getsus so much for this, but this is about N, not Getsus. So, as I said, N is the personification of Team Plasma's initial ideals. And curious, I'm so funny. He just wants to set all Pokemon free and questions if it's right to encapsulate them in, well, tiny capsules. Which, honestly, yeah, I kind of see his point. Ultimately, Pokemon help us grow as people. I know I say us, but like I'm trying to talk in universe. In the Pokemon universe, Pokemon help others grow as people. without Pokemon, honestly, people are just not saying but like it's a partnership. It's not enslavement or anything. Sure, a large part of the Pokemon world is and culture of this world is focused the on the on this just manipulation and just using a Pokemon. Yeah, won't even try to say that's not the truth, but hear me out. It's a partnership, as we've seen through the various Pokemon medias, anime, manga, obviously games. What N made pretty much everyone with a working brain question the morals of this game. And not in the sense of PETA, but is being a Pokemon trainer in universe a morally right thing to do? I have to keep saying in universe, because obviously I'm not saying throw your pets out. Like, obviously pets are adorable. Keep your pets. And I feel like, even though technically Karen and Bianca are more so your intended rivals throughout Black and White, N is your opposite hero of ideals or truth, depending on your version. He is your rival hero. Who's in the right is honestly up to interpretation and stepping in the shoes of the other hero. The reason I put N at number 1 in most rivalries, you want the protag to win, because not only is he the protagonist and the way you view the story of this world, but because he seems more morally right. Phoenix is defending the defenseless. Ike is trying to stop Dayan's reign and avenge his father. Hajime is trying to not get everyone not get everyone killed, and and make sure Nagito doesn't let that happen. However, N versus Hilbert, sure, it would be the end of the Pokemon culture as we know it, but would that really be a bad thing? There are positives to both sides. It's been Shao Joker. I hope you enjoyed, and think more about yourself. Not think about more. Think more about what other people are going through and their side. Take care, everyone.